Hey, 1% Nation, I'm Jake Voorhees, and you are watching episode 49 of the 1% Engineer Show, where we take it live here on September 18th because we just hit 1,000 subscribers, so thank you so much. And I have a bunch of announcements for you guys, kind of like going live throughout the week. It's been pretty cool. Done it 3-4 times, but helps you just to stay a little bit more connected to me and things like that. So have maybe 5, 6, 7 things to go over tonight, just like some updates that happened a week or two ago. But the main thing is that I'm giving away a $100 gift card to one lucky member of 1% Nation. So guys, thank you so much. This video is mostly about hitting 1,000 subscribers lately on YouTube. It happened Saturday night when I was in Baltimore visiting my cousin Timmy Leonard for Sam Shoge's birthday. Shout out to Jovan Turner, also a bunch of people who were there. But this has been really fun, making it to 1,000. It took 3-4 months, maybe even 5 months just to get to 100. And I kind of had a soft, unannounced goal for this year, 2017, to make it to 1,000 before the end of the year. And I didn't tell anyone because by May or June, after doing it for 3-4 months, I didn't think it was going to happen because it was so slow. And then 200 happened quite a bit faster than the first 100, and it just kind of slowly took an uptick. And if you guys are in the 1% Engineer Facebook group, which a lot of you are, then you saw the graph that I posted today, and it's just like flatline until really July. The how to choose an engineering major video was posted on Reddit and went relatively viral. And then if you guys are in the live chat right now, go ahead and say what's up. Video went kind of viral on Reddit, and then what happened was the laptop video has gone crazy. That was episode 28, and it represents like over 50% of channel watch time. So thank you guys so much for enjoying all the videos. Again, I just could not be doing this without you guys. The oxygen is waking up to new subscribers, comments, everything else. What's up, Eden? What's up, man? How you doing? So again, guys, just thank you so much. And in the description of the video, if you guys want to be eligible for the $100 giveaway, all you have to do is 2 things, okay? You have to be subscribed on YouTube, which I can see the subscriber list. What's up, Mohit? What's up? You just have to do 2 things, guys. Subscribe on YouTube, and it helps to hit the bell so you see when the live streams happen, when you see that there's a Wednesday or a Saturday or Sunday video. So make sure you hit that bell as well. And that's really one thing. And the second thing is in the link in the description of this video. You will see a link that says to sign up to be a 1% engineer. Click here. It's just the email list, guys. There's about 130 of you. I really only believe that half of those people are active. I'm not even really doing a full email list, so it's pretty good chance to win this giveaway. I'm also kind of making it a weighted giveaway. I'm not just drawing a name out of a hat. For example, I'm going to also consider the level of engagement. For example, if I choose a name and it's not someone who's commenting on videos, it's not someone who's in the YouTube or the Facebook group, it's not somebody who attends the live streams, they're going to be slightly disadvantaged for the giveaway. So it's going to be sort of like a tiered win. So anyway, what I'm trying to say, 1% Nation, is if you know you've gotten to know me, you've built a relationship with me, you're participating in community engagement, particularly if you're in the Facebook group, there's about 140 of you. You guys are more advantaged to win this. I want it to go to somebody who is really participating in this community, not someone who just signed up for the email list once and then I've never heard of them after that. So want to give a shout out to the guys that are in the live stream right now. What's up, guys? There's 5-6 of you right now. What's up, Listo? What's up, Mohit? What's up, Eaton? At any given time, okay, thanks Listo, I really appreciate it, man. You've been commenting on like every video. If at any given time you guys have any questions here tonight or want to talk about anything in particular, let me know. Just put it in the chat. I'm looking at it. The reason why it's in the stream this time, unlike the first 3 for live streams. I want you guys to be able to see it and know that I'm actually paying attention to the chat as I'm talking. What's up, Nistro? Got Listro and Nistro. Thanks, guys. So that's the main thing, is I want you guys to sign up. If you're not on the email list, that you have to sign up for that in order to be eligible for this giveaway. I'm going to wait 12 days until, I guess 13 days until the day after Halloween. I'm going to make the announcement. So I'm going to give it almost 2 weeks here for more people to subscribe. Hit that bell. Make sure you get the notifications for YouTube. It's right next to the subscription button. I'm sure only like 5 of you actually can. What's up? What's up, Des? What's up, guys? Really appreciating the shout outs. Guys, if you're watching right now, go ahead and mention where you're from and what kind of engineer you are so we can get a little chatter going and we can see what everybody wants to talk about tonight after I get through a bunch of these announcements. But if you're just joining in here, we're really talking about this $1,000 giveaway that if you're subscribed, with which all of you are, otherwise you wouldn't be seeing this notification right now. All you have to do is sign up for the email list. In the description of this live stream, in the video description, there's a link that says sign up to be 1% Engineer, or you can go to the website, 1percentengineer.com. So that's enough about the giveaway, guys. Again, if you're just joining the stream, let us know where you're from, what kind of engineer you are, and we can get chatting about a few questions in a little bit. So that's the first announcement, guys. Also, I do a monthly award for 1% Nation. I do a 1% Engineer of the Month, and I started it back in May, so there's been 4 so far. I do it at the end of the month. What's up, Usadea? How you doing? From England. Nice. Chemical engineer. That's awesome. Love it. So guys, I do a 1% Engineer of the Month award each month, and so far I've just been honoring, again, Keystone flagship members. What's up, Scream? How you doing? Silver Spring, Maryland. Yo, I'm from Maryland, born and raised over here in Delaware. I love that. And we have another guy named Clay Peter, Scream. He goes to College Park. He's an engineer. He's I should connect you guys. What's up, Devin? How you doing, man? Thanks for mentioning it. Student from Missouri. Love that. I'm a civil engineer. And one of the other Keystone members, one of the 1% Engineers of the Month, is Nehemiah Mabry. He has his PhD in structural engineering, so if you have any questions about that type of thing, him and I together can answer that stuff. What's up, IzTech? How you doing? Let me know if you're a new engineer to this community, because I haven't ever seen your name before, and where you're from, things like that, guys. So let's get back into some announcements. Announcement number 2, I'm talking about the 1% Engineer of the Month giveaway. So far, it has just been an honorary thing where I say congratulations and give you a big shout out on the Facebook group, give you a big shout out on the main 1% Engineer Facebook page. And I'm going to be doing announcements on YouTube Live about this sort of thing. But I'm also doing a gift card for that too. I'm going to do $25 each month. And instead of me, what's up, Ethan? How you doing? Ethan, got you. Got the names a little switched up, yeah. And the letters. Shout out to you being out in Washington. I lived in Vancouver for the last 4 years, so West Coast life. So anyway, guys, if you want to be featured as a 1% Engineer of the Month, I'm now requiring people to submit a short little phone video saying what their name is, what type of engineer they are, where they're from, and how they are deploying the types of stuff that this community talks about, the types of things that I strive to teach, how you are networking, how you are standing out, how you are maybe putting out content. I'm really encouraging everyone to start a blog so you can leverage that blog and you can reach out to businesses, reach out to professors, reach out to research groups, and you can start writing blog articles about them. But anything like this, are you joining an engineering club, a team? Are you getting involved with other engineering societies? Are you building relationships with your professors? What are you doing to exemplify 1% engineer status, okay? And I'm sure only like 1, 2, 3 people will submit videos each month, so you have a really, really good chance to be featured as 1% Engineer of the Month. So if that interests any of you guys, which all of you, if you're in this live stream, it should, because you guys are flagstone members of this community, keystone members of this community. That's why you're here in this stream participating with me. So thank you so much for even being here. Thank you. Shout out to all of you. So that's update number 3. Now, or number 2. Number 3, if some of you have seen, I have started to do one-on-one mentorship sessions over YouTube Live. I do a bunch of them privately, whether they be email, phone. We do lots of Facebook chat groups, little micro groups, and lots of voice messages and things like that. So if anybody wants some one-on-one time with me, whether it's offline or maybe even on a YouTube live stream, let me know. Comment on this video. Do some shout outs in the chat right now. If you want anywhere between a 15 to 30 minute student mentorship or early career coaching or anything between trying to find your engineering passion, what is actually your path on your engineering journey, or helping you land that first internship, helping you get that job, doing resume auditing, helping you with a cover letter, helping you figure out which companies you should be looking for, anything like this. If you guys want some one-on-one time with me, I'm trying to figure out if this community, if that's a popular thing. I think it is. I've gotten a bunch of requests. But I want to know what you guys think in the stream right now, and if you're watching this video on playback, if you didn't make the live stream, it's okay. Comment on the video comments. Leave a comment in the comments. That way I can reply to you, can get connected with you via email, and we can talk about that. So that's the third update, guys. And fourth, I have another opportunity for you guys to be featured. I want to do a series this fall leading into next spring where I am highlighting certain engineering students and talking about what it's like to be them, a day in the life of them on their student engineering journey. And we can talk a little bit about this offline, but I want 1, 2, 3 different students to help me have myself and this platform tell their stories and this type of thing. So it may be hard for you to understand right now what that would entail, but really it would be you wanting to be featured, you wanting this platform, this community to help tell your story, and it will help you network with the other members of the community and help you stand out and stuff like this. So it definitely wouldn't be a bad thing for you. So if anybody's interested in that, comment below, send me a message about it, and we can talk a little bit about it. And I have a paid opportunity or two for you guys. This is the fifth announcement. I need help taking the videos that I produce and transcribing them into a written vlog comments or written vlog format. I do most of the heavy lifting when I plan videos, when I script them, when I actually get on here and go live or take the time. You can see this camera behind me. Take the time to record a real video, edit it, do all the tags, do all the keywords, do everything, right? But I need help, somebody who's interested in wanting to take some of that stuff and get a little bit more engaged in the writing style of things. This would be paid, so I'd be doing probably an by article basis or something like this. But I made an announcement about this a few days ago, maybe a week ago, and I didn't get too much of a reply, guys, so there's still this opportunity out there to officially be a writer for 1% Engineer, and you can have this on your resume, you can have this on your LinkedIn, you can have this on your Facebook. So for people who are still in school, wanting to make a little bit extra money, get more involved and closer to me and this tight-knit circle, then shoot me a message about that, guys, because I definitely need some help. It's hard to keep up with all the videos, but that's the main priority, and I want to get a little bit more blog written stuff out. It's called a content repurposing. So you take a video, you summarize that in a blog post, but you don't actually have to do the research and everything because I've already made the video, right? That's the fifth announcement, guys. The sixth announcement is my involvement in a community, a nonprofit called the Mars Generation. And for those of you who are interested in outer space, aerospace engineering, aeronautical engineering, anything like this, being a pilot, then this is a community for you. I've become a Student Space Ambassador board member along with Aaron Shepard, who is a 1% engineer. I interviewed him in episode 26. And we are almost to, I think we have 840 founding members, so it's not too late. I think before October 1st, they're taking founding member applications for the Mars Generation, which means you get a patch, you get a t-shirt, you get a bunch of stickers, and you get to say that you're a founding member in this community that has reached over 1 million students so far. It's created by astronaut Abby, who is most likely the most famous young astronaut today. She's 20 years old, and she is leveraging her massive followings on Facebook and Instagram to build this nonprofit and to change the world. And what the Mars Generation is, I'll talk about that just for a second, guys. What it is a community. What's up, Aaron? I'm talking about you right now, bro. You rock, man. What the Mars Generation is a community for really exciting students about being a part of the Mars generation. It is exactly what it sounds like, guys, because us young millennials, and definitely you Generation Y peeps out there, which anybody who is 19 and below, your Generation Y, you have an awesome opportunity to actually finish up your life on Mars. And so probably if you're 18 today, I would say by the time that you're 40 years old, it's going to be so mainstream. It's going to be like getting on a boat in the 1600s and leaving Europe and coming to North America. That's how mainstream it's going to have become. That's how safe it will have become. And I've been saying this for years, and I'm going to finish up my life on Mars. I know you, Space Cadet Shep. Shout out to Aaron Shepard right now. That's who I'm talking about. He wants to be the first black astronaut to walk on another world, and this is what we talked about in episode 26. He was the first ever special featured guest on the 1% Engineer Show, guys. So thanks so much, Aaron, for taking the time to be a part of that. And those are the main updates. I don't want this video to go too long here, guys. I have a TEDx event tomorrow and 3 planets. That's right, man. But we're going to do, now that Aaron is actually in the chat, I'm super happy that you're here. Sorry to have rescheduled with you, Aaron, but we're planning on together doing this live chat to talk all about the Mars generation and what that is, and really his road, because he's more the real astronaut than me. I'm a civil engineer. I'm connected to the community because of the videos and the platform building in general, and just being a mentor. But I want to really have Aaron back on the show and talk about why he's really excited to be a part of the Mars generation and everything like that. So this is not a main announcement about that. We're going to do that soon. I think he's talking about the 26th, but we need to lock that in. So if anybody has any other stuff that they want to ask about or Mars generation questions, what's up, Nistro? Sorry if there's any delay. I still don't have the email list automatically sending people things, so I'm sorry. I probably just typed up the draft and didn't actually send it to you, so I'm going to make sure you get that tonight. Sorry about that. But if anybody has any other questions, if you want to talk about anything specific, what you're struggling with, how your fall semesters have been going so far, for those of you who are students, which I think is most of you, what you guys think about how the videos have been going. If you like the live streams, I've been doing more interviews, been releasing more interviews lately. I want to hear from you guys, what you think is going down. Thanks. Thanks, A. I guess that's A. Thanks, Nestro. I'm going to make sure you get the 1% Engineer kit. So sorry about the delay on that, but I still don't have all the automated stuff set up yet. So that's the explanation for that. So guys, I'm doing open Q&A right now. So if anybody has any questions about anything, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I only heard from a few people who said where they're from and what type of engineer they are. Mohit, mechanical engineer from Hayward, California. Thank you. Scream, Silver Spring, Maryland. Awesome. I know I already gave you a big shout out because I'm from Maryland. I actually went to University of Delaware instead of College Park, which is maybe a mistake, but it's okay. Got Des from Ireland. What's up, Des? I definitely recognize you. Of course, Listo is in here. Ethan's in here. Chapman Lamb. Oh, snap, man. What's up? Another engineer from Vancouver, British Columbia. What's up, Chapman? I don't know if I've ever seen you comment on any of this stuff before, but Chapman and I used to geek out about camera stuff, and we just have all these nerdy conversations because that's just how we used to roll. It's cool, Chapman. Just quick little mention here. It's funny, the role reversal, because I'm out here in Delaware now, and we're doing a bunch of BRIM stuff. I'm sure you know all about that. But one of my colleagues actually flew out to Vancouver today to present at a bridge conference. It's the IAB something, Structural Engineering Summit. And he's going to be doing a presentation on that, so I'll have to send you some more information about that. But Chapman, let me know how the Vancouver office has been, man, and how you are. Thanks, dude. Oh, you're at work right now. Yeah, I guess it's only 3:39 for you. So funny. But right now, guys, since I've been through about 5-6 updates, let me know what you want to talk about. Last time I did this live stream, I only planned on doing it for 15-20 minutes, and it went into like 2 hours of Q&A, which I absolutely love. So I have some time right now before I film the episode that's going to be released on Wednesday. I don't even know what it's going to be about yet. I actually think it's going to be about engineering, construction, and management. I filmed our new professor at University of Delaware, who is the engineering, construction, and management prior professor who's now spearheading the program and need to release that promo video. So it's kind of like repurposing, helping promote UD and our new major, but also adding some value to you guys, 1% Nation. So I'm not seeing any questions or any comments here in the stream, guys. So maybe just throw some topics out there because I don't really want to cut this off this early. Want to kind of keep this rolling. I know people have some questions, but what do you guys think about how your semesters are going so far? I want to hear about what your hardest classes are, or if you have a professor that you're vibing with, or maybe a professor that you're intimidated by, you're not really able to get that sort of class participation, you're afraid to stay after class, or you're afraid to go to office hours. I'd love to talk about this sort of thing. If anybody has joined any new engineering clubs, if anybody has joined any new engineering societies, if anyone has reached out to some other people in their classes and started to do homework with them, love to hear some examples about this. And if nobody has too much to mention, that's okay. But we'll probably just wrap this up at that point. But there's 12 of you in here, so who's got some little updates about their engineering semester? I'd love to hear how it's going so far. Maybe you, Scream. I'll call you out right now. How's it been? I guess you say you're at Silver Spring, Maryland. I guess you're at College Park. Love to hear how being a Terp engineer has been so far, or anything that you guys are doing out there, Chapman in Vancouver. Or Aaron, if you have anything to add about the Mars generation, or anybody else, so go ahead and just drop some stuff in the chat. Guess not getting a whole lot here, guys. So with that being said, I'm going to just go over re-summarize my announcements for today. Guys, if you want to be eligible for the $100 giveaway that I'm going to be announcing November 1st, all you have to do is be subscribed, which all of you are, to the YouTube show, and also sign up to be a 1% engineer. The link is in the description of this live chat. It says sign up to be a 1% engineer. It's just an email list, guys. Also, if you want to be 1% Engineer Featured of the Month, I'm requiring people to submit a short video about what you're up to in your engineering journey and how you are striving to stand out. Got a couple questions here. Montgomery College. There you go. Nice. Awesome. Nice. Usadea, thanks for mentioning this. Starting your university soon. First year, lots of early engineers here, guys. I'm really happy that you mentioned it. Oh, you're out there in Algeria. Whatever, it's all good. Alexander, what's up, man? How you doing? Nah, I literally only hit 1,000 on Saturday. I wished I had 100,000 subscribers as well, but it really is a long road to make it to 100K. That's honestly my 2-year goal. I think I can do 10,000 next year. 1,000, it's taken long enough. It's been 6-7 months. But really, YouTube is just a way to reach new people. YouTube is it's a numbers game as a yes and a no. But YouTube is an interesting platform because they kind of make you prove that you're worth the value. For example, if you guys saw my graph of videos, what happens normally is it flatlines, no one cares, and then you get one video that goes viral, like the How to Find Your Engineering Passion video first went. It got like 2,000 shares on Reddit one day, and then finally you need another good video and another good video, and then YouTube says, okay, actually maybe this stuff is pretty good, and then it starts putting it next to suggested videos. Like you probably see my stuff suggested next to Matt Tran for Engineered Truth, Freedom in Thought with Justin Diol up in Alberta. Shout out more Canadian engineers crushing it on YouTube. David Zhang, Natalie Barbado, or not Barbado. There's a couple other engineering YouTubers who I spend a decent bit of time, Explore Engineering, AF Math and Engineering, Major Prep. I love those guys. Zach, shout out to you again. Last time, Zach, that's the guy who runs. Thanks, Adriel. Big shout out to you. Adriel gave me the best testimonial I have ever seen in my entire life. So thank you so much for that. Honestly, imagine how it feels for me to be doing this all by myself, working 40 hours a week, and then getting home, trying to put out videos to help you guys in your journey. And then I get this long paragraph of a big thank you and about how Adriel doesn't just want to be a 1% engineer. He says he wants to be a 0.0000001% engineer, wants to rise to be the absolute best of his industry. So thank you so much. Usadea, thanks for mentioning that you found me through Major Prep. Zach and I built a relationship over the last, honestly, just 3-4 months or whatever. And let me give you guys a little tip about how that happened. But this is what you need to do in order to build relationships with people. You just have to reach out to them and offer value. But I would comment on their videos, on his videos. Zach's another engineer from California, electrical engineer. I would comment on Major Prep's videos. I would add value, answer people's questions if it seemed like there was a place for civil engineering insight to be relevant. And then I just sent him an email and said, hey man, I love what you're doing. You're awesome. He responded. I sent him another email and said, by the way, Zach, I featured your channel on my channel today. No ask. Right? And then he responds back and said, oh, thanks so much. I don't think it was him who said, I didn't even know you could do that, but I've gotten that response from a few people. And he was like, oh, I featured you back. So now he's definitely the biggest YouTube channel that features me back. Explore Engineering is pretty good. That's like 20,000. And this is when I only had a couple hundred subscribers. So it's crazy, crazy, crazy to me that a channel with literally like 50 times more subscribers will feature me when I only had a few hundred and they had 20,000. So Major Prep has been a big deal. So I'm really happy that you guys know about it. I'm going to get back over to the chat here and catch up. Make sure I'm looking at what you guys are saying. Ethan says, what are good prep classes to start with? I only get 16 credits each year in the Navy. Got to choose them wisely. You're guessing math. That's a great question. Well, Ethan, where you need to start with is you need to make sure that you're getting connected to your academic advisor. Every college, and I'm sure Navy does, 'cause Navy's a great school, every college is going to have, nice, Des. Oh, hey, my mom's in here. What's up? Shout out to Mom. Peggy McHugh. That's my mother, guys. She made all this possible. And actually, just so you guys know, my mom is an expert saleswoman. So all this face-to-face, all this people-person type engineering stuff, it all comes from her. So she's the reason why this is even possible. Anyway, I want to get back to the mention about Ethan's question with Navy. Every university, they provide... I can't believe my mom's in here. Shout out to you, Mom. You're getting a shout-out within the shout-out group, Mom, so thanks for that, Scream. She lives in Rockall, Maryland. Google where that is, Scream, because Scream's in Silver Spring, Maryland. We got a couple other Marylanders in here, if you can believe that, Mom. But anyway, so I want to talk to you guys about how you can take advantage of your credit load, like what Ethan is asking about his situation in the Navy. You want to choose wisely, because you're exactly right. Even me at University of Delaware, in my junior and senior year, I was scrambling to make sure I was taking enough classes so I could actually graduate on time, because as you guys know, a lot of engineering programs, they require more credits than your stereotypical major, so you need to make sure you're taking advantage. So first things first, study your 4-year curriculum, and you can plan. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're like, oh, well, I'll just take that computer science class, or I'll just take Calc 2 in the spring semester. You want to know that maybe it's only offered once a year, or maybe this professor teaches it and they're much better. They only teach it in the spring semester. So first of all, tip number 1, Ethan, is you need to know exactly what you need to take. Tip number 2, get connected to your academic advisor. You probably have, just like you had a guidance counselor in high school, you probably have some sort of situation where your university program sets you up with a faculty advisor that can give you guidance, that can give you tips, that can help you out with all the same questions that students are struggling with. And then thirdly, Ethan, this is an optional thing, but poke around and look at minors that you can take. For example, if I was on my game And I knew, but I didn't really care. But if I had taken just one extra math class, I could have actually had a math minor within civil engineering. Or for you computer engineers, for you electrical engineers out there, a lot of times, and this was the case at Delaware, you only need like 3 or 4 extra classes to double major if you're electrical, and you can double major in computer engineering because they just cross-pollinate so well. So look into these types of little subtleties, and there's no way you're going to know about this unless you actually take the time to build a relationship with that faculty advisor, to study the credits that you need to graduate, to really know which breadth requirements are valid for you. Another funny story with me, guys, is I took this criminal justice class my sophomore year with another civil engineering friend who we used to do homework together, and I get all the way to the finale of doing the check-in meeting with my guidance counselor at spring semester of my, literally like months before I was going to graduate, and Dr. Changes, who I still have a great relationship with, he says, Jake, that criminal justice class doesn't count at all. And I'm like, curse word, right? And he's like, but, you've been a grader for Rusty Lee and Sue McNeil. You've been doing research with Jack Paleo. I built a good relationship with these people. And he bent the rules for me a little bit and said, we're just going to allow that to count. And I heard he did that for another student as well. So nothing bad on UD, but sometimes you get a little lucky with this stuff, but you don't want to put yourself up against a wall like I potentially did. Scream, thanks for mentioning Engineer Truth. Matthew Tran is a good guy. I write blog articles for him. Thanks for the shout out to Scream Mom. Appreciate you. What's up, David? He's another Keystone member in this community. David, you're always participating in the live streams. You're in the Facebook group. I would love to see you. I think I also have you for the email list. I would love people like you, David, to submit to be 1% Engineer of the Month, do a little video. David, I'm going to get to your question right now. I like this question a lot. David's question is, how much should I trust rankings? Every college pamphlet, or on every college pamphlet, he says he finds tons of rankings that cite one source, the U.S. News, quote unquote, number one in innovation. Great question. I actually have a lot to say about this. Usadea, thanks for your question. I'm going to get right to yours next. Okay, so you guys might be surprised by this, and I'm just going to be brutally honest here, but there's a lot of politics that goes behind these U.S. rankings, these college rankings, these best academic everything rankings. And I'm going to go back to a political thing, almost a governmental thing. Now, if you look at the best XYZ program in the country, if you say the best whatever, what school do you think comes up as number one all the time? Harvard, right? Harvard. If you look at the President's Advisory Board, look at where all those people come from. They all have PhDs and teach at Harvard. And they usually are like a professor emeritus, and usually it's some sort of Harvard situation. So there's a lot of political agenda to make sure that these high-ranking media outlets are just playing to really the game that these brands of colleges like to play. For example, think about how valuable it is for Harvard and different engineering colleges to always be put at the top of these lists. So there is a slight grain of salt to be taken with all these rankings. But what I would encourage you to do, David, is look at the overlaps, because not every blog out there, not every magazine, not every college pamphlet is going to have these universities as number one, number two, number three. So there's that. There's the politics, and there is the playing of the game in the marketing circles, right? Because that's really what this whole thing is. They're trying to make you feel really good about that school, that brand. The school is no different than a brand like Nike or whatever you guys wear, and you guys want to feel like you want to buy what that school is offering, because that's really what's happening. You're trading a bunch of tuition money to go to that school and trade 4 years of your life, which is a huge commitment, right? To have that brand as a part of your career road forever. So with that being said, that brand and that the name of the school and the rankings, all those things are really important. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, so that you don't want to get too caught up in rankings, because specifically within engineering, as long as you go to an accredited school, it's going to be fine. It doesn't actually matter too much where you went to school. And this is a big topic that has been a little pretty active right now. Does the school matter? Does it matter if I go to community college? Things like that. There's gotten a pretty good amount of feedback from that video that I made that came out yesterday with the community college thing. So I'd love for you guys to let me know what you think in the comments about this. The school that you're going to, for example, if it's a Clemson or if it's a Cal or if it's a little bit more mainstream, what are your views on that? And I know a bunch of you are actually doing the community college road, which I think is a fantastic option today because of all the reasons I mentioned in yesterday's video. So go ahead and let me know what you guys think. I want to hear from the people who are going to big schools, and I also want to hear from the people who are doing a community college or they're not sure if they're caught up in the whole rankings thing, but I want to hear some more. And Nestro, I'm going to get to your question, or actually, Usadia, I'm sorry if I'm struggling to pronounce your name, but in England, he says, we generally do a year in the industry if we can find it, or a year abroad. Which would I recommend? Wow, okay, great question. That's actually a really tough one. But without question, a year in the industry, if you mean like working like some sort of co-op or something like that, that is so unbelievably valuable, guys, because what happens is you're going to learn all this awesome stuff in your engineering curriculums. You're going to become really good at math, and you're going to pick up all this type of stuff that you learn academically. But the reality is, even for someone like me who started a new job 4 or 5 months ago, I walk into that job and I don't know how to do any of it, because every company does stuff very specifically. They use different softwares, they do it their own way, or maybe they only work within one little niche project. But the ability to leave your engineering curriculum and actually be able to hit that job and within the first 30 days actually be able to provide value and work for a company is basically zero. So the more 0%. So the more experience that you have when you are accumulating internship time or even doing research, but that 1 year of experience, any type of experience at all, is so valuable, because you learn so much extra stuff on the job compared to being in the classroom. Just the dynamics of being in an office, right? Getting there on time, being punctual, speaking up in meetings, office culture, building relationships around the office. If you've done this type of stuff before, even if it's just drafting for an engineering company, or for me, like I got my entry into my first engineering internship because I was a surveyor before. So bridging that gap between surveying and civil engineering. Or you can use John Lupu working at Tesla right now, the electrical engineer that I interviewed. He doesn't have an engineering position at Tesla, but he has a sales position at Tesla, and he's on the inside. He's figuring out the company. He's learning their culture. He's learning what it takes to make it at Tesla. And this type of stuff is super important. So if I had to choose between traveling for a year, or studying for abroad for a year versus industry, that industry experience is better. But studying abroad is very good as well. You're going to learn a lot of stuff that you wouldn't typically learn at your school. And the biggest thing, because I'm actually doing a 1% Engineer episode about this, where I interview my friend who studied in Australia for a winter session. Shout out to you, Paul Tabanowski. He's the first 1% engineer to ever have joined. What he said was the biggest thing, and I'm kind of trying to speed up so I can get to other questions. Thanks for the questions, Chapman, Adriel, Nestro. Really appreciate it. But what Paul said that I didn't realize because I didn't study abroad, the relationships that he forged, the relationships that became so strong on that study abroad trip, are really the people that he has connected to jobs, the people who have connected him to opportunities, the people that he studied with, did projects with, did exams with, or studied for exams with. So I didn't realize how much bonding actually happens on these trips, so that's another thing to consider. I'm going to keep moving on to some other questions, guys. Thank you so much for loading up these questions, because really it gets to the point where once I'm done my announcements, if there's no comments, if there's no chatter going on, then I just have to cut the stream, right? So thanks, guys. Getting back up here to what Nestro is saying. Nestro says to David's comment, good question, says back to the rankings thing. I'm always finding different rankings for community colleges in the U.S. You know what, guys? I would love for those of you who are looking at these rankings and you're a little bit confused or you want a second opinion, I would love to save the list of schools that you're doing research on. Send me that list, please, so I can do it myself. I can also make a community post about this in the Facebook group and see what everyone else thinks and actually use the community, leverage this community to find out more research for yourself. So please, David, Nestro, go ahead and send me the types of schools that you're looking at, and we can help you on your search, okay? And Adriel says, thanks a lot. Adriel, seriously, your testimonial that you sent me last week, so awesome. That thing almost brought me to tears, guys. So I want to encourage everyone, if you're liking the show, if there's something that helped you in some situation from one of my videos or a post or anything else, send me that message, because that really is the oxygen. That's what keeps me going. It's really hard to keep up with all this content. It really is just a solo grind without you guys. So I think only like 1% of people actually send those little mentions like, hey, this really helped me, but it keeps me going. So go ahead and send that stuff, guys. So Adriel says, what would be the perfect university application to submit to increase his chances of getting into a competitive school? Great question. This is what I encourage students to do, is to hack the system. And this is what I'm encouraging my old mentee in Vancouver, Sanford Lee, who is trying to get into the University of Toronto. And he wants to be an aerospace engineer. And Toronto has a really good engineering program. So first of all, he knows the exact top school for him. So what he can do in advance is he can be building relationships with those professors in advance. He can follow them on LinkedIn if they're putting out content on LinkedIn, if they have their own blog, which a lot of them do, if they have their own website. Maybe you can follow their page on Facebook. Maybe you can figure out what their Instagram account is, but put yourself on their radar, start engaging with them on social media, and then after a little bit, maybe like 3 weeks to 4 weeks of that, send them an email. Say what's up. Say this is me. Say I'm young and I'm super passionate about this type of engineering that is your specialty, and you are inspiring me with your research. Know about whatever awards that has been on their situation lately. Name drop a couple of their grad students. You can look up all this stuff on the university websites, guys. So really just put yourself on their radar. Talk about how they are inspiring you to follow your dreams, and how you've been passionate about this, even if it's not true, about how you've been passionate about this very, very specific type of niche engineering, which is exactly what they do. You've been passionate about it your entire life. And it is your dream to go to that school. It is your dream to hopefully go to grad school and be one of their students for a master's or PhD. This is what you can say to people to build a relationship with that professor ahead of time. And then what do you think happens when you apply, right? You apply, then you can tell that professor that you applied, and this is what it could take to get your name on the top of the pile if they want you in their program, right? This is how I got into grad school. I basically skipped the whole application system. I did not have good grades in comparison to the international students. There was probably dozens and dozens of American kids who would have taken that opportunity at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, but because of several relationships with professors, my name got put on top of the pile. So this is what you guys can do to position yourself ahead of other students, to leverage social media, which is free, and you guys know it because you're so young and you've grown up with social media. So this is stuff you can do. And I want to add to this one more thing, Adriel. In the essay, okay, talk about how you've been passionate about going to the school your entire life. Like, this is what people want to see, that you know this is your destiny and you're not going to let anything stop you, and this is the school for me, and this is the program for me, and this is the professor for me, and I want to do this type of thing at this university, and basically that is your life plan to attend that university. That's really what you need to emphasize. It has been your life plan to be this type of engineer. And if you apply to 10 different schools in 10 different engineering programs, you should say that on all your applications, everyone. And this is a hack that I learned from the PhD students at the university level, because in order to be accepted as a PhD, as a doctoral candidate, that's what they want to hear, that you're going to go on to get your PhD and that you have always wanted to go to this school and blah, 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 blah. That's what is going to make people give you an opportunity, that they feel that you are just being empowered by their yes, right? So I'm going to click over here and see what's going on with the chat. Thank you so much, guys. It's been like more than 10 of you here this whole time, which is more than the prior stream, so thank you so much. getting behind on the comments here. So I'm gonna get over to Chapman's. It says co-op education. Yep. Looking at co-ops is super, super big. Chapman, let me know. I can't remember. I think UBC definitely did a co-op program. So question to you, Chapman. Thanks for mentioning that. And for those of you who don't know what a co-op program is, really quickly, what that is a school that advertises a standard 4-year program with a 1 year of working term within it. And generally what happens is your 4th year, so your stereotypical senior year is 6 months of classes, 6 months of working, and then your 5th year is 6 months of classes, 6 months of working. So you exit university with, first of all, a year of experience and maybe even work with 2 different companies. And so Chapman, I would love to hear, I know that Jay-Z, one of our old colleagues, that's Z with a S-Z-E, interned at Delcan in 2 different positions. I think he did water, and then he did something for either structures or for Ken. But then he ultimately was hired by the old company that we used to work for, which is now Parsons. But that internship, that co-op situation in conjunction with UBC, with the university, led to a full-time job. And I probably need to make a video just about the benefits of co-oping, because I know statistically you're so much higher. Your odds of being not only hired at that company, but just having a position right out of the gate is so much better, because again, you guys, you have that experience and you can actually hit the ground running with a little bit more belief, with a little bit more trust, maybe a referral. For example, if you co-opt at John Smith's engineering firm and you're not sure if that's the type of engineering for you, but you want to go work for John Smith's friend, he can connect you, right? So he can say, oh yeah, they worked, John Smith or whatever, some person, not John Smith again, but this person, this hypothetical engineer in this situation, they can say that, oh yeah, they actually did show up to work every day and they're a good worker and they learned this and this type of thing. So even if you don't end up with that company that you first co-opt with, you're in the industry now, right? You're building your professional network, so it's really strong. Thanks for that, Chapman. What else we got here? Nistro says, oh yeah, quick question. Does the university you get transferred to, I'm not really sure what this is asking. Does the university you get transferred to rank depend on the community college you were in? Not necessarily, or is it all about the grades? I'm not really sure what that question is, Nistro, but I think it has something to do with, does the community college matter? So maybe elaborate on your question a little bit. David says, thanks for letting me know about the email. Great. Thanks for signing up. You have to be signed up to be eligible for the $100 giveaway. And you're a perfect candidate, David, for the giveaway, because we've built a relationship. You comment on all the videos, and I know who you are. So I'm just a lot more likely to give it to you. But what I'm going to do is probably some sort of drawing where it's half randomized. I'm going to draw like maybe 10 names, and then of those people, throw out ones who aren't participating in the community actively and then redo it or something. I'm going to do some sort of system here, but it's going to be partially random because I don't want to just pick somebody. That's not fair. But also weighted towards the people who participate in this community, like all of you. This is how you get on my radar. I'm going to be doing more giveaways, guys, so I'm really happy that you're even interested in this at all. Des says, would I recommend making your own engineering-related business to gain experience for the job market? Yes and no. In order to actually start a business, in order to actually receive any sort of payment for your services, you really need to build up authority and credibility in that space. And when you're coming right out of school, particularly in something like engineering, that's nearly impossible because you don't know anything yet. All you can maybe speak to is your success as a student, right? Because you accomplished that. There's a lot of people out there who want to start businesses to help people with their businesses, but they never actually built a business, right? But here's what you can do, Des, to actually answer your question. You can become an authority. You can become a content creator. It's kind of like what I'm doing with 1% Engineer. You can start to put out content and you can make yourself an expert in a certain field. For example, Des, what is the type of engineering you are? We'll speak specifically to an example that I can use for your situation. So Des, let me know if you had to choose your dream job in engineering. What company would that be? What type of position would that be? And we're going to use that. What's up, Maximilian? I haven't seen you in a minute, but I remember you commented on a bunch of videos back in the olden days, back in the first 10 videos, I'm pretty sure. So we'll go back up to there. David says, wow, almost forgot to ask. I'm writing my personal statement, David says, so I'm wondering, should I relate my essay to engineering somehow, or do they prefer to read about me personally? You should definitely connect it back to engineering. You should do both. You should talk about your personal everything, why you're choosing that school and why you're choosing engineering. People don't want to hear that, oh, well, I think maybe I'll choose this school because it seems like an okay idea, and maybe I'll choose engineering too. Engineering is so hard that unless this authority or this decision maker who is sifting through your applications, if they think that you just kind of ended up at engineering, they think that you might not make it, right? Because actually so many students do change majors in that first year or two of engineering that they want to hear that you love engineering, this is your destiny, this is what you're meant to do, you love math, you love science, and I'm passionate about this type of thing within engineering, and I'm showing that off in my personal life. Even if it's something like, I play Minecraft, right? Or I know some of you are a little bit too old for Minecraft, but I used to be a big gamer. I played SimCity like crazy. I had ant colonies growing up. I played StarCraft. I used to do all this type of stuff, and it was that type of thinking that basically, like, this is how I knew I was an engineer. Legos. I used to admire bridges. In my UD college acceptance essay, I wrote about this local bridge that was in Delaware. The Route 1 bridge, for those of you who know, I know a few of you will, but I think you should, David, to answer your question, you should connect it to your life and how you know that you're an engineer. Let that passion come out of you and tell that story. Tell a story about how you were young. People love storytelling, and how you knew that you were going to be an engineer, and how choosing this university is a part of that progression and that road for you. So I'm going to click over here and look at some more questions here, guys. Thanks so much. See, this is what happened last time. I love it. I think I only have like 10, 15 minutes of updates, and then 10 of you stay in the chat, and we talk for over an hour. So this is exactly why I do this. So thank you so much, guys, for being in this. Go ahead, if you're just joining in here, Maximilian, remind me, man, where are you from? What type of engineer are you? And you can, thanks for the congratulations on 1,000 subs. Really appreciate that. So let me scroll back up here, guys, and look at some more comments. Des, you say R&D engineer at Medtronic. Awesome example. And I'm going to get into that in 1 second. I'm going to go up and look at these other comments, try and catch up. Scream Pie says, I never really looked at what university to transfer to. Most of the CC, he means community college programs here, go to University of Maryland College Park. Do I know anything about the engineering program at the University of Maryland College Park? Absolutely. I know a lot about the University of Maryland College Park engineering program because I probably should have gone there as a Marylander, but I paid out-of-state tuition and went to UD. And though I loved UD and I would never have changed anything, like I have no regrets, but just knowing what I know now about student loans and debt and how out-of-state tuition works and how big College Park is and just how renowned that engineering program is, I probably should have gone to College Park. So University of Maryland College Park, if you are from Maryland, in my view, that's the only school to go to, okay? It's the best, without question, the best engineering program in the state, without question. And we have a decent bit of okay. Johns Hopkins is a really good school, hard to get into. We have Georgetown, we have American University. There's Towson, Salisbury. They don't have engineering programs, but if you're in Maryland and you have pretty good grades, 3.0 and up coming out of community college, hopefully you can get into that 3.3, 3.4 and up type of area, you should, without question, go to College Park. Just because of the type of professors that are there, the money that they get for research, the brand that College Park, being a Maryland Terrapin, that's what their mascot is. It really goes much further than some of these other schools. But really it just comes down to the size of the school. I'm a big fan of big schools, and that size means more brand, more money. Being a part of that football experience, being a part of that social experience doesn't hurt. So I would, without question, encourage you to be all in on College Park and then apply to like one or two safety schools within Maryland and only look at Maryland. So you're lucky because you're not like in some Wisconsin situation where if you want to be an engineer, you really just have like two options in Wisconsin. You have Madison, University of Wisconsin at Madison, or Marquette, like what Brianne Martin went to for mechanical engineering. Okay, guys, keeping up with some questions here. Thank you so much for all the questions. And David says personal voice. He's talking about his personal statement. The prompt has nothing to do. Well, let me know what is the personal statement for? What is the application for it? If it's for a course, maybe it's for just a university class and it's not within an engineering context. Maybe the personal statement is about your life goals, or maybe it's about what you want this academic year to be, or your academic future. But David, give me a little bit more context and I can provide you some insight on what I would do for a personal statement in your situation. And what's up again, Maximilian? Thanks again. Currently has a circuit project and calc exam prep to do. Oh, awesome. I guess you're out of here. So thanks for stopping by, Max. Adriel, yep, no problem. You got it. Chapman went to Waterloo, of course. And just for you guys who don't know what Waterloo is, because a lot of you are from the States, but Waterloo is like the MIT of Canada. And I kind of got in trouble here. I'll have you weigh in, Chapman, but I kind of got in trouble here because I was talking to some Toronto engineers, and they were like, yeah, Waterloo and Toronto were like tied. And I was like, I sat next to Matthew Chan for 5 years, and he loves Waterloo, and that StarCraft team used to be so good. I used to watch the Waterloo StarCraft 2 team crush people because I played in the Collegiate Star League a little bit for Madison. But those were the good old days, guys. Lots of gaming. I was a huge gamer back in the day and wish I still had the time to, but I kind of treat YouTube like a game now. I'm always looking at the analytics and the stats. I wake up every morning and I hope that there's another 10, 20 subscribers and that the views are going up and that type of thing. So I do treat it like a game, but it's a lot more serious. It's real, There's not just one person that you're playing online. It's a whole community, and it's a lot more real. It's a lot more rewarding as well. Thanks for the mentions about UBC's co-op program, Chapman. Okay, Des, so let's get back to your question. Des, are you still in here? But Des, his question was, should I start an engineering business to try and highlight myself a little bit more, to stand out? And my question about that is yes and no. I like the ambition, I like the motivation, but it's really hard to start a business unless you have something to offer, unless you have some value, unless you've learned how to do something a million times. Thanks, Des. What I would encourage you to do is to become that authority, and then you can start that business, okay? So, for example, nice, Adriel, awesome. Gamers rule the world. Chapman and I are gamers. Gamer. What's up, Camille? Thanks for the comments. I want to just give you a shout out. Chapman's a civil engineer. I don't know if you're seeing the chat by Camille Cannell. But Des, let me get to your question. Okay, so this is what I would encourage you to do. If you want to be an R&D engineer, okay, you should start a blog about R&D engineering and start telling stories about the people who you look up to in that industry. Start telling stories about the companies who are in your city, in your area. And what happens is, if you write content about these people, they will share your content. And then you do it again, share your content. What do you guys think that I'm trying to do when I interview Aaron Shepard, when I interview Ash Norton, when I interview Brianne Martin, right? They share the show. They share the content. It's an ego thing. First of all, I'm thanking them and having them on the show because people can learn from them, but also it's a marketing thing, right? That's the point of a blog, is that you talk about the best 5 schools on the East Coast for engineering, and then you send them to those marketing managers, and then they share your blog posts. That's the point of that content, guys. Like, if you go on LinkedIn and you look at articles about the top 10 Bluetooth speakers, that company who put out that blog post probably has a Bluetooth speaker line or something like this. That's the point of it, right? That's the point of the videos, is to grow the community, right? I don't make videos just to make videos. There's always a goal with the content. So if you want to become a known person in the R&D engineering world, you should start a blog. The easiest one is blog. If you want to just do an Instagram page, that's pretty good too, where you're doing R&D style engineering and you're telling stories. You have to be telling stories, not just taking photos, not just making slideshows and putting them up on YouTube. Can you put out valuable content and tell stories and add quality value to that community and share stories about people who you're inspired by, share stories about the companies who you would want to work for, and then over time what happens is you become an authority, you become a voice, you become a known person in that community. And in a lot of ways, that's exactly what I'm doing with this community, okay? Do I have professional experience being a college mentor? No. Do I have professional experience advising engineering students on how to be successful or how to get that first job? No. I've just done it myself, and I've ended up being asked to be people's mentors before, and it's just one thing after another. My passion for engineering, my like and knack for mentorship, I really do love this, and my ability to get on camera and make videos, it's like this triangulation effect. And I'm not offering anything paid. I think it's going to have to get to that eventually. But that's what you do. You want to be a credible person in a space, you have to put out content and make yourself become that authority in the area. So in that industry, and this is what astronaut Abby has done in the space community. You know, what made her be credible to be a young astronaut? Just activity, content, volunteering, getting involved with stuff, adding value, doing stuff, being active. That's what you guys need to do with whatever niche engineering is your focus, and just become that regulator. Okay, I'm going to keep going with these questions here. World of Tanks, awesome. Okay, David says the essay, because he's talking about personal statement, guys. When you want to write your personal statement, what should you start with? What should you be doing? And that type of thing. So thanks again for the questions, David. He says the essay is just a common application. The prompt I choose is about the challenges you face. Great. He explained why the lessons he has learned apply to college, but not engineering specifically. Okay, so I think you should mention to me what the essay is for. Like, is it for a class? It says, does the ranking of the community... Oh, it's a different question. The prompt I chose is about... Yeah, let me know what this is actually for. Nistro says, does the ranking... He's emphasizing a question that he asked earlier, or reiterating a question that he asked earlier. He says, does the ranking of the community college have an impact for the university you'll be transferring to? Or is it just about the grades you get? Good question. So here's what you need to start with community colleges. And I don't know why this is not very well advertised, but everyone I've talked to about has no idea about this. But if you go to, let's use University of Maryland for an example here, or Nestro, I think you said you're from Algeria. I think that was you. So maybe mention the school that you're the community college that you're in. And then also mention, like, what is the top 1 or 2 university schools in Algeria, okay? But big schools, even the Ivy Leagues, even you can use College Park for an example, they very commonly partner with community colleges, and they have a 1-to-1, 100% transfer rate for the credits. So, for example, I am from Kent County, Maryland. Near us in Queen Anne's County, Maryland, across the bay, so east of College Park, guys, there's a little community college called Chesapeake College. My mom took classes there. I know a lot of people who took classes there. And if you have a 2-year community college degree from Chesapeake College, the University of Maryland College Park will take all of those credits 1-to-1. I don't know what they do about grades. I don't think they take the grades. You just start with a clean slate. But you don't have any risk. So a top university like College Park will accept all these credits from a little tiny community college like Chesapeake. So that's where I would start. Don't worry about community college rankings. Honestly, community college is community college, right? Like, it's there as kind of a precursor. It's like training wheels, right? It's getting you ready for that full bike. So I've never even heard of community college rankings before, because generally what happens with a community college is it's more of a geographic thing. That person works in the area, that person lives in the area, they're choosing that school, they're not traveling. Like, people don't go out of state to community college, right? You know, people don't go to a community college that's 8 hours away from their home area. They choose it because it's in their hometown, right? So I don't think that there's a type of dynamic where you would put out rankings and hope to attract people from out of state. I really don't believe, or from another country. Nestro, in your situation, I know you're in North Africa. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm getting these names mixed up. So let's keep going here. No problem, Des. No problem at all. Yup. Camille Chapman is an awesome guy. Chapman and I know each other in real life. We worked together for, I guess it was 4 years, right, Chapman? I mean, you were in the structures group, and my biggest memory of you, Chapman, I think you're still in here, or one of the things that makes me smile, besides talking about cameras, because you're a photographer and nerdy gaming and whatever we're up to, but I love that huge map that you put on the wall. He put this, it was like 10 pages of what we call like strip maps, which is like 6 feet of paper by 2 feet all over the wall in order to draw this. I think it was like 28 bridges in Saskatchewan for what we called the Regina Bypass Project, right, Chapman? But that was awesome what you did for Matthias, and Chapman was hustling. I thought you put that up, Chapman. But Chapman, you were always hustling. Yeah, no, I'm not confusing you with Grant, bro. I wasn't sure if you were there when I first transferred, because it was kind of like a blur because I didn't actually come out of a Canadian school. I transferred from the Chicago office. But anyway, I'm pretty sure you did that big strip map. What's up, Sanshan Engineering? I don't know if I replied to your comment about chemical engineering, but thanks for the shout out. I actually just interviewed a chemical engineer who was featured in Forbes magazine, who's starting her own business. It's episode 37 with Ash Norton, Sanshan Engineering, so go check that out for sure. Yeah, and I thought you put the map up, Chapman. Thanks, dude. Not in structures. I guess me just assuming you're connected to Matthias. Malva Hill, that's what it was. And then Mark got let go during the Parsons acquisition. That's another video, guys. I experienced some crazy stuff working for a small, and Chapman was there for the transition as well, for a small 900 employee-owned Canadian engineering firm, and I was lucky enough to work in the Chicago office. And then we were acquired by this massive American company called Parsons Corporation, and I don't work for either one of them, so I'm just going to use the brands, with a broad brush here. But working for a small engineering company is a lot different from one of these big behemoths that make you feel like it's Walmart or Sears or something. So that was really funny. I'm definitely going to talk a lot about this later. I see this question a lot, like what type of engineering company should I target for my internships and my jobs? So there's a lot to say about this. And Delcan, the 850 one, was, I would call that a medium size, because I work with people, or I go to conferences with people who work for engineering companies who are like 10 employees, right? And we call those boutique firms. They only do like one thing really, really well, very high level of speciality. Couple shout outs here, guys, to a guy who commented. Thank you. I guess your name is a guy who. Camille, thanks, man. I don't recognize you guys. Sanchin Engineering, I know that you came through on the last video or two, so big shout out to you guys. If you want to be eligible for this $100 engineering giveaway for hitting 1,000 subs, make sure you sign up for the email list. The link is in the video description below. And I'm also doing 1% Engineer of the Month awards, where 1, 2, 3 people, there's only going to be a few per month that do it, submit little phone videos about what they're doing in their engineering road to stand out and be awesome. So I'm featuring one student each month. A couple other opportunities for those of you who are in here, because I think you guys are strong candidates for this, but I need somebody, this is a paid thing, I need somebody to start helping me write blog articles from the videos. So I take video scripts that I make, I run them through a software so it puts everything I say to text, but it still isn't in a professional written blog sort of situation. So I'm looking for help for that. So somebody who is about to be going into engineering, you're still a senior in high school or freshman or sophomore in university, and you're not really sure if you're going to be able to get your first internship. I'm specifically going to try and help all of you get internships next summer. But if you guys want a little bit more experience, some money on the side this year leading into that summer, reach out to me. Let me know that you're interested in helping me out with some content. I think I'm going to be doing like $10 an article or something like this. But I definitely need help. I need help scaling this so I can help more engineers. To keep the questions going, guys, I need to catch up here a little bit. But Camel says, Jake, He says, I am new to adulthood and networking. How do I start networking? I don't have any cool things that would differentiate me from other students, but I am planning on learning some programming and doing projects with Arduino and Raspberry Pi in the summer. So should I start networking after I do these, or should I start now? Great question, Camel. Kamel, I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. I think it's Kamel Cannell. But this is one thing that a lot of people worry about. They say, oh, well, I don't have anything to offer yet, so I shouldn't go to that career fair. I shouldn't join this engineering society or team or whatever because I'm just not involved with that much stuff yet. What I have to offer to these people is not that important, not that valuable. And this is just not true, honestly. Like what you said right now, I want you to go look up this person. Her name is Stephanie, spelled with an E, E-S-T-E-P-H. Stephanie explains it all. And all she does is make videos about herself messing with Raspberry Pi stuff and messing with Arduino boards. That's it. And she's got like 5,000 YouTube subscribers. She's got like 25 or 30,000 Instagram followers. And all she does is she shares her projects with her community. And that's the exact type of thing that I encourage you guys to do, is you work on your engineering projects and then put out content about it. Tell that story, right? You put them on your Instagram. Start a blog about it. Go to medium.com. Start a free blog. Do it tonight. And track this progress. So, for example, what if you were at this networking event, or say you went to something with some other engineers, or Camel, if you said you're new to adulthood, that means that you have recently graduated. So what you should be doing is looking at professional engineering societies in your area, and then people can say, oh, what do you do on the weekends? And you can say, well, I do all this Arduino stuff, and if you want, you can check out my blog. And people will go check out the blog, right? And if you meet a new opportunity, a future employer, they're going to be impressed by this because it shows ambition. It shows that you're actually working on something, you're working on a project, you're not just wasting your time, and it shows passion, right? You like this stuff enough to be spending your spare time on it. You're not just wasting your time on your fantasy football league or whatever. Like, so many people that I know that are guys, they just watch sports and watch Netflix. Like, that is not what's going to separate you from all the other engineers who are in this world, who are looking for that same internship, that same job. So just document those Arduino things, document that Raspberry Pi stuff, guys. So tell that story, put out that content. Okay, what else we got here? Yep, engineering, no problem. Love shouting out people. If you're in the live stream, you get a shout out. Nestro says he actually wants to study abroad in the U.S. Great call. That's why I'm searching for a ranking. I really don't care about the location of the community college, but about the quality of the studies. Well, this is what you need to think about, Nistro. You need to think about the area in America that you want to travel to and that you want to soak up, right? There's really only three. If you want to be in the East Coast, you should be looking at any community colleges between Boston and Washington, D.C. area. That's about an 8-hour stretch. If you want to experience Chicago, look at community colleges about Chicago. Or if you want to experience California, you should do that. Now, if you're from Northern Africa, you're not coming from some cold place. If you were coming from, say, you were like in Eastern Europe, I would say go to California, because you get to not only live that California life, but you get to have a nice climate for a while. Now, you're from Algeria. I just think you should go to East Coast, okay? Anywhere between New York and Baltimore, Washington and that's only a 3-hour drive, but that's 160 million Americans. That's half of America is in that 3-hour drive, okay? So that's what you should be looking at. And don't worry about rankings. I would say target a place that you want to be in. If you want to visit a lot of stuff in New York City, target that. If you want to do outdoorsy stuff and you want to be up in the New England area, target that. If budget is something that is a limiter and a restriction for you, then you should tier things by budget and not worry as much about the location of the school. But if you want to come to the U.S. About study abroad stuff, honestly, if you can make it here on any opportunity, take it. It's so hard. Everybody from around the world wants to come to the West and go to grad school, go to undergrad, go to community college, do whatever. So I would just be applying to a million things. And just like I mentioned earlier, choose your top 5 schools that you want to apply to and start building relationships with those professors now. Figure out if they have a blog. Figure out if they're releasing stuff on LinkedIn. Figure out what their Instagrams are, or whatever. If they have YouTube content, if you can become friends with them on Facebook, and put yourself on their radar and start building a relationship, building a rapport with them. It doesn't hurt if you're putting out content in this niche, right? And you maybe can share your blog with them, and you eventually email them and say, hey, I love your program. I've been following you and the classes that you teach at this college or whatever, this community college, and you email them and you say what's up, and you just build that relationship over time, and then you let them know that you're applying. That's another way to get in. No problem, Camel. I studied civil engineering, sanctioneering, and the chemical engineer, if you want to know more about chemical engineering, the flagship chemical engineer in this community is Ash Norton, who I just interviewed, and I asked her all about why she chose chemical and the types of jobs that she can get and what led her to success. She was also a hiring manager for Duke Energy for a long time, so she knows exactly what companies want to see in an engineering candidate. She knows what it takes to get promoted and things like this, guys. She also has her MBA. So if you're a chemical engineer, sanctioneering, you should totally check that out. Check out that interview with Ash Norton. So let me go back up here, and I think there's a couple more comments here. Doesn't matter which email you signed up with. Signed up on the website with a different email. I would say Scream, you should just sign up, Scream Pie. You should just sign up with your main email, because right now I don't even have like a MailChimp automated thing. When I send emails to the email list, it's just manual. So if you signed up with a secondary email that you're not getting emails to, then it's a little bit pointless, right? Like, the whole point of the email list, the whole point of you guys signing up is because you're becoming a part of this inner circle. You're becoming a part of the mainstream, what I call the Keystone community. And you guys are going to get advanced updates about giveaways and awesome things. You guys are going to get more updates about one-on-one coaching. That's another thing I want to reiterate. I'm doing more one-on-one, either YouTube Live or even offline, just calls and one-on-one little Skype calls with students. So if you guys want some more help with becoming a better student this fall, if you want some more tips on how you can be networking and you can get that first internship, get that first job next summer, then I'm doing one-on-one time with students right now for free. I'm not charging anything. So let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email. Find some way, if you're interested in that, guys, find some way to get in touch with me about that. Just put in the comments below that you want to do a one-on-one session with me, and I will give you my time for sure. I'm here to help as many engineering students in the world as possible. And I don't see too many other questions here in the chat, guys. There's still 9 of you in here. So if you guys have any more questions, let me know, because I'm going to stick around here. I've been doing this for 75 minutes. But I'm about to go eat dinner here, and we'll I've gone through all the updates I have for tonight. Screen Pie, I got you. Don't worry. Just go ahead and sign up again. Whatever. It's no big deal. But put in your main email. I would say otherwise, because if you're not getting the emails when I reply to the email that's opted in, then it's a little bit pointless, because that is what's going on. I'll be sending you guys more value, the best video updates, giveaways, and things like that. Opportunities for coaching. I might have skipped some questions. So if you guys think I skipped some questions, go ahead and re-ask them, or you can copy them in. But I'm not sure which questions I missed, so maybe go ahead and re-ask them. Scream is mentioning that some questions could have been missed, but I'm not sure. I'm going back and looking. And yeah, Scream, if you missed your question, then that's okay. You can go back and watch it. But okay, guys, do you have any other final questions? Anything for me that isn't maybe not necessarily for you? Book suggestion, or maybe not specifically for your situation right now? Maybe something that other people can relate to. What do I think about mechatronics engineering? What's up, the real TB? Thanks for stopping by. I think it's your first time on the channel, so make sure you subscribe, guys, because I release videos on Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays for engineering student success, and we talk about this type of stuff that you guys never are going to learn in your engineering curriculum: how to actually be successful, network, build relationships, how to communicate, how to be a leader, and win. What do I think about mechatronics engineering? I think it's a great field. I honestly don't know too much about mechatronics engineering. I know it is the merger of sort of robotics and mechanical engineering, with sort of some other technological things built in. I think it's a great field because as nano gets more serious and biomedical technologies get more serious, I think it's a really good field to be in. I just specifically can't quote too many things about advice for it, but honestly, that's what's nice about not teaching hard technical advice. It's all soft advice. It's the same types of stuff. If you were not a mechatronics engineer, you need to go to your professors, you need to build relationships outside of your curriculum, you need to work in groups, how to actually study better, how to actually get opportunities, how to go to your professors and seek out research positions, how to be on an engineering team so that you can stand out and get more experience, how to put out content about mechatronics, start that mechatronics blog, start writing about all the mechatronics companies in your area, all the mechatronics professors, and highlight professionals in your area and become that authority so that you can do informational interviews and you can get opportunities that you would have never even dreamed of if you do this stuff, guys. So all the fields typically cross apply, and when I don't know specific information, the nitty gritty brass tacks details about a type of engineering, what's my solution? I interview them on the show and bring on a chemical engineer or a PhD structural engineer or robotics engineer or electrical engineer who is trying to be an astronaut or someone who's working at Tesla or anything like this. I've emailed maybe 10 and only released, I think, 4 or 5 kind of slowly. I don't want this thing to turn into an exclusively an interview show. So taking final questions here, guys, because this chat is slowing down a little bit. It seems like I missed a few questions. I try to go fast so I don't lose people. Oh, and Des, if you want to help out with blog writing, awesome. Let's talk a little bit offline about this. Here's my email. There's my main email, which is actually not a 1% engineer email. Did you guys know that you can tag me like this? If you do @JakeVorhees, you can highlight it. That's how you can get your question to stand out in the future. So hello@JakeVorhees.com is my main email. I have that website for future things. But it's not actually an active website, but that email is my main email. No problem, Real TB. Any other questions, let me know. And if you are on Facebook, make sure you connect with me on Facebook. Here's my Facebook. I'll get you in the 1% Engineer Facebook group. That's my Facebook handle. So go ahead and friend me on that. And that goes for everyone else who's in here. I know a handful of you are friends with me on Facebook, like David. Who else? Des might be. Chapman definitely is. But Adriel definitely is. Thank you so much for that testimonial, David. You're awesome. But Scream, I think you might have suggested that I forgot a question or left out your question. So go ahead and let me know. Thanks, Des. I'll be looking forward to your email. Let me know if there's any other questions I missed. But pretty soon here, I guess you guys are still hanging on. There's still almost 10 of us in here. But let me know if you have any more questions. Or if you guys want to get more involved, I really do need some people to help me out with blog stuff. And it's a good opportunity for you to, again, build a better relationship for me, because I know a lot of people out there and can help you in any way possible, maybe even a little bit extra, just because we've gotten to know each other a little bit more. Good opportunity for you to have someone on your LinkedIn as a blog writer for 1% Engineer, on your Facebook. You can have it on your resume. I will be a professional reference for you. So this is just a good opportunity for a lot of you guys. Adriel, good question. Should I learn programming before going to university? I want to do mechatronics engineering and aerospace during my master's. Great question. I think any engineer who can merge engineering and programming is in the best situation possible leading forward. I actually don't believe in a world where we should be just focusing on software engineering today, because what's going to happen is robots are going to be writing software, and software is going to be writing software pretty soon. Machine learning, like human software writers are not going to be able to keep up with AI and machine learning software. But an engineer who needs to make judgment decisions and what we call leveraging engineering judgment, meaning it's not a black and white, a binary type of situation where you can literally just write code to something. Me, every day, we're dealing with situations that we've never dealt with before. So how can a robot replace that? So if you can be a human engineer who can also code as a civil engineer, as a mechatronics engineer, as an aerospace engineer, as an electronic engineer or electrical engineer. This is a super duper strong position for you, because coding is not going anywhere in this world. Software engineering is not going anywhere in this world, particularly when it is merged with some type of engineering. So great question. I think you should be leveraging, or you should be utilizing all the free resources that are out there, Coursera.com and all of the YouTube University type things that are out there. You can literally learn to code. You can become a pretty awesome coder with a lot of time and no money and a lot of dedication to resources online. So look at Coursera. You have colleges like MIT and Harvard and Princeton and Stanford literally who have content on Coursera where you can take high-level university classes for free. So why not do it, guys? Sanctioneering. Will I do any tips on technical classes such as explaining a theory used in civil engineering? Great question, sanctioneering. That is actually not what I do here at 1% Engineer, because honestly, there are a lot of Khan Academies out there. There are a lot of places where you can have a whiteboard situation where people are doing engineering problems. One of the best places to go for this, specifically for civil engineering, is a YouTube channel called AF Math and Engineering. Those guys are at the University of Toronto. That's Avi and Fred, and their keystone Coursera, yeah, that's right. Spelled pretty close to that. Just put that in Google, Adriel, and you'll find it. I'll send you some links. Make sure we chat about this on Facebook, and I'll send you some links. But anyway, if you want sanctioneering, if you want some additional theory and walkthroughs for problems and seeing what the coursework is like for a civil engineering curriculum, go check out AF Math and Engineering. That's Avi and Fred from the University of Toronto. They're both civil engineers, and they don't just walk through whiteboard example problems. They actually do their homework on YouTube. They go through all the steps for stuff. I don't do that because that's not my strength. I actually struggled a lot in classes. If it weren't for my ability to build relationships with professors, if it weren't for my ability to build relationships with other students in engineering, and use my people skills and the stuff that was and is my strength, I would not have made it. I'm also not very passionate about the technical engineering stuff, so I stay away from that. But the way that I try to deviate from the crowd with this community is really just talking about the same types of business skills, the same types of professional development skills that honestly are never talked about in engineering circles. I have gone through 6.5 years of university, that's 4 undergrad, 2.5 with a graduate program, and we never talked about how to build relationships, how to crush a job fair, how to handle an interview, how to network. Seriously, and this is the stuff that's actually going to make you more successful, and this is what I try to teach. I try to trickle down the information that I've learned in building businesses and in my professional world and things like this. So that's why you don't get the technical stuff from me, guys. Thanks for the questions here at the end. What else do we have here? Adriel says, some people have told me to wait so they can teach you more properly. It depends. I disagree with that. I don't think waiting to learn anything is ever the right call. I think the more preview that you have to anything is a really good idea. Here's where engineers get into trouble, though, okay? Particularly young engineers, and I literally just learned this a year ago, okay? But what engineers find out early is that they're smarter than most people out there in the world. And then even as a 16, 17, 18, 19, even into you graduating from university at 21, 22, we have a tendency to think that we know everything, okay? And what happens is once you teach yourself to code or once you teach yourself physics, we're actually out to try to disprove all the other arguments that go against what we already think that we know, right? And this is super bad in engineering. This is super bad in life in general, because you should actually, Jeff Bezos said this best himself, you should actually every day be trying to disprove what you actually know. Think about if you're a scientist, okay? And you are trying to break your own theses or your own hypotheses because you're constantly getting new data and you're able to reevaluate what you already believe in. If you find a flaw in your research, or if you find a flaw in your life as an engineer, or if you're coding and you find something new, a new way to do it, a faster way to do it, or something that's less error prone, why wouldn't you want to do that? So why do we have a tendency as humans, and specifically as engineers, to walk around thinking that we have it all figured out and that we are mad when people try to prove us wrong? It really should be the opposite. You should invite people telling you that you're doing it wrong. This is a leadership thing. Because leaders have a tendency to not listen to their team, who they say, well, because I'm the CEO, because I'm the leader, I'm not going to listen to you, team member. But if you're constantly trying to be proved wrong in whatever you believe, every day you have the potential to be smarter than the day before. So don't worry too much. This is a long-winded story to kind of encourage you to think differently about it. Adriel, if you learn how to code early, it's not bad if you're open-minded to the fact that you don't know everything yet, right? And that you don't say, oh, well, I've been doing this from 17 to 19 and I already know Java and I already know C++. And you're not going to listen to your professor, you're not going to listen to your group in these courses, and you're going to be the one to bomb because you have what they call a fixed mindset instead of a growth mindset. You always want to be learning, you always want to be growing, you always want to be improving. So that's one thing that's very important to keep in mind as a student. Okay, guys, what else we got here? I always look back to see how many are in the live stream, and very commonly it's like 10. No problem. Sanchoneering, big shout out. So, David, get to your question now. Besides the advice I have given in my videos, do I have any additional advice for getting an intern or job at a renowned company like SpaceX? I know networking is the most important thing. Great question. Well, to use this specifically as an example, I would encourage you, David, to go find the How to Get a Job at Tesla interview that I did with John Lupu, who is still a student, University of California, Santa Cruz, and he is an electrical engineer. I think he just finished up his sophomore year, so he's not even halfway through, or just barely halfway through. The way to get a job at these companies like Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Microsoft, two ways. And one of them is so hard that we're going to write it off, because that one is to stand out so much that you're literally building your own products and you're basically like starting your own businesses as a student. I know the CTO of Eat Street, and he was a computer engineer at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and they started this local business called Badger Bites, which all it did was it took like Chinese food restaurants and pizza restaurants and restaurants that did not have websites, and they just created a platform for them to take orders online. And then now they're in like 130 different cities now, and they got a job at Facebook, and he quit like a year or two ago. But these are the types of people that those companies want. Or you have to have a relationship with somebody who's already on the inside. So this is the reason why you should be trying to do the best you can to participate in class, to put yourself on the radar of all these other standout 1% engineer students, because there are people in your classes who are going to get that job at Facebook, who are going to get that job at Apple. And you don't want to be saying, oh yeah, I knew a guy who worked at Facebook. I went to class with a guy who worked at SpaceX. And, oh, do you keep in touch with them now? And then you say no. You don't want to be that person, right? So you want to be building relationships with all the smartest people around you. And what's the best way to do that? You need to stand out yourself in school. You need to be doing homework with these people. You need to be joining the same engineering clubs and societies as these people. You need to be doing research. You need to be going to university networking events and just be doing all this stuff so you are positioned to succeed later on in life, because now you know and are friends with somebody at SpaceX. You're friends with an engineer at Amazon. You're friends with somebody who writes code for Facebook. That's how you get in on the inside. And John Lupu will tell you himself that the reason why he got a job at Tesla is because he had a friend working at Tesla. And that friend passed him the job interview questions, basically created this golden brick road for him to get hired at one of the most illustrious, one of the most prestigious car companies of today. Honestly, if I was a mechanical engineer or electrical engineer, I would want to work at SpaceX or Tesla. So great question. So you either have to be so awesome that they can't ignore you, or you have to know somebody. What do we got here, guys? What other questions do we have here? Honestly, David, it's just networking, relationship building. hang out with as many professors as possible because these professors have power. Invite them to coffee, invite them to lunch, go to their office hours. So if you're not building relationships with the highlight students in your world, your classmates, then you need to be building the best relationships with your professors. Also, if you start that blog, if you start becoming an authority in the niche that you want to pursue in engineering, you can start doing informational interviews with people and start building that professional network early. And it's one thing after another, after another, after another. Think about all the engineers that I know now. Like, if I want to get a job at one of these crazy companies, I probably have a shot because of all these people I know. And I would have never known all these people if I wasn't putting out videos and building this community. And honestly, guys, each and every one of you can do this in your way as well. I've done all this in 7 months. Really started going public about 1% Engineer in March, February, 6-7 months. And I started this knowing that it's going to be a grind, it's going to be a journey, it's going to be years and years and years. But if you're not putting out content, if you're not going out to events and networking and helping people and volunteering with your professors and getting involved with groups, so you're not going to know these people. So you just got to do. You got to act. You got to be ambitious. You just got to do a lot of stuff. So I know that's a lot of answers for you, David, but honestly, that's the path. You got to just do a lot of stuff with a lot of people. Yep, open-minded people are always the smartest. That's right, Adriel. And Scream, what do you say? Except he worked on computers and stuff. What does your brother say, Scream? Let me know what you're talking about. Oh, he's in the Army. Yeah, lots of people think that way. Don't worry about it. You should learn from the mistakes that you see him deploying in his life and be better than that, right? Don't try to tell him. Most people, it's really hard for people to take advice until they're actually ready, until they want to change, they want to improve. So, I would say he'll come around, he'll figure it out. But it's really tough until people are ready to take advice. So this has been super awesome, guys. Almost at night, or I guess we're over 90 minutes. So I want to thank you guys so much for being Keystone members in 1% Nation. I'm going to give all you guys shout outs in the Facebook group. If you are not, Scream, that's exactly right. You should just stop arguing with him. If you guys are not friends with me on Facebook yet, I'm dropping my link or my profile in the chat right now. So make sure that you guys friend me on Facebook. I know a handful of you already are. Adriel, David is, who else have we got here? Des, you might be, I'm not sure. It gets a little sticky because unless you guys are leading with personal brand, I may not always recognize your Facebook name, which is generally your real name. Thanks again, Scream. I really appreciate it. So shoot me a friend request and then send me a message like say, hey, this was Sanchineering. I know I don't have you on Facebook yet, but the point of connecting with me on Facebook is so that we can build better relationships. We can chat on the side like Adriel and I are doing, like David and I are doing. I can get you in the 1% Engineer Facebook group. I can shout you out. I can introduce you to 1% Nation. We have like 140 engineers in that Facebook group, and we have lots of people from Texas, from the East Coast, from California, got a handful of people from the Midwest. So I'm always looking to get you guys connected to people in your area who can hopefully get you jobs, who can also be a mentor for you in that mechatronics, aerospace, electrical, structural, some type of engineering. If I am not that, which I'm a civil engineer who has pursued a traffic and transportation career, if I can't specifically offer you brick and mortar, brass tacks type advice on what you guys should be doing in your classes, in your whatever, then I can connect you with an engineer who can help you. That's the point of 1% Nation. That's why I call it 1% Nation, because we are a community. We are a network that is super strong. So I'm gonna end this here, guys. Thanks again so much to the few of you who are still here. And if you're watching this live stream replay, thank you so much for making it to now 95 minutes in. And thanks again, 1% Nation. I love you so much for making it to 1,000 subs. If you want to be 1% Engineer of the Month, submit a video, shoot me an email, hello@jakevoorhees.com. If you want to be in the 1% Engineer Facebook group, friend me on Facebook. I'm at Jake Voor. And thanks for watching the 1% Engineer Show, guys. Stay hungry on your quest to be a 1% Engineer. And if you guys want any types of video tips, advice, anything. If you want to hear from me about anything, comment below. I respond to every single YouTube comment. And if you want the 1% Engineer Kit, guys, which is a bunch of ebooks and some resume templates, make sure you add that to the comments. I know that's like 5 different call to actions, but you guys can handle it, 1% Nation. So thanks so much. Thanks, Chapman. So I'll see you guys later. Cheers. Thank you, 1% Nation.